Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the episode each week where we try to solve today's Times Cryptic crossword for you, which is that one. And I know this is by my friend Colin Thomas today. So let's have a quick look at the stats. Mark's already solved it. Look at that, straight in there. 5 minutes 27. Oh, that's something of a relief. Because if Mark starts taking sort of over 10 minutes on a puzzle, we know it's going to be a bit brutal. Matthew Marcus there with 6:48, so those times are definitely real, and suggest at least. I mean, you can see actually that you can get into the top 10 times. Bear in mind that the top 3 there, I think, are typists. You can get well into the top 10 with a time of 13 minutes, so it's clearly not an easy puzzle, but it should be more approachable than sometimes we get on Fridays. Fridays historically, certainly in recent years, has definitely been the hardest puzzle of the week. We will attempt this armed with the dictionary, which is in the correct place for once. We won't use this to cheat. We're going to use this to sort of explain some of the principles involved in the clues. And I think, well, that's all but everything. I've got a couple of birthdays to do today, and I will just, in case it's interesting to some of you, there is this puzzle, which is a listener crossword. Now, these puzzles are for the cognoscenti. They are wonderful things to get into. Once you've mastered the basics of cryptic crosswords, you should gravitate as soon as you can towards listener crosswords. They're absolutely fantastic. Sabre is one of the greatest makers of such puzzles that there has ever been. A terrifying name, very, very difficult puzzles. And you can see about 3 weeks ago, this listener crossword came out, Spyder by Sabre. It is absolutely sensational. It is sensational. And because some of you asked me to do this, I recorded my attempt at solving it. And that's been being released over the last couple of days over on Patreon. So far there have been 4 videos in all. There's more to come today. I won't tell you how many more, yeah, if you want to see how to tackle a listener crossword that is properly difficult, or how I try and tackle properly difficult listener crosswords, that might be something interesting to some of you. It's over there on Patreon right now. Now, a couple of birthdays to do. We're firstly going to go to New Zealand, where Riley, it's your birthday tomorrow, my time, but I think by the time this video goes live, it will be tomorrow in New Zealand. So I think I've basically timed this perfectly. Your friend Phoenix wrote to me. I mean, if you've got the name Phoenix, you're basically good for life, aren't you? I mean, you're going to sail through life if your name is Phoenix. But anyway, Riley, Phoenix wrote to me and said, could I wish you a happy birthday? I think the two of you discovered the channel through a love of cryptic crosswords, and you both enjoy the community that's sort of come up and existed around the channel. I totally understand that. It's something that Mark and I we're incredibly grateful for and very proud of. We don't know how it's happened, but it just seems to have happened, and isn't it wonderful? Anyway, Riley, I hope you get some chocolate cake today with, of course, a lot of icing. Also, there's a bit of a New Zealand connection with the next birthday as well. Holly, it was your birthday earlier in the month, and I think you're a Kiwi. I know it was your birthday because your husband Chris wrote to us. I suspect Chris might be Welsh. I'm just guessing from the email. But Holly, I gather you enjoy the cryptic crossword videos, so I hope you enjoy this one. I hope this is a surprise that I'm mentioning your birthday. But Chris said basically, he said you are awesome, and he thinks the world should know that too. So I hope this goes some way to helping that message get out there, Holly. I hope you had a great birthday, of course. I hope the cake was good. Anyway, with that said and done, let's have a go. We're going to do this one first, aren't we? The Times Cryptic, and see what Colin has in store for us. Let's get cracking. Right, so one across is 8 letters. Boxing in silver martial arts costume is most fitting or least fitting. It's really That's just I don't know what the answer is, by the way. I'm admiring the surface of the clue. Some of the clues we've had in recent weeks have been so extraordinary. We really have. It's been about 4 weeks in a row of extraordinary clue writing. But let me just explain. If you're totally new to cryptic crosswords and maybe you've looked at a few clues and you've thought, I don't understand. Here is the basic principle of every single cryptic crossword clue. Every single cryptic crossword clue will include within it somehow a straight definition of the answer. Now, normally, that straightforward definition is at the start or the end of the clue. Very occasionally, it might be the whole clue. You might have to read the whole clue and think about it in a cryptic way. But if you take as a sort of a guideline to try and take the start or the end of the clue and think about synonyms for that, you'll find you can solve some clues. What's the rest of the clue? The bit that's not the straightforward definition of the answer to be entered. That is a recipe. What do I mean by a recipe? Well, it'll say in so many words, it'll say take a teaspoon of this word, scramble it up with a bit of that word, mix them together, and you'll create a string of letters which will happen to be the answer. So that's how every clue works. So let's reread this clue, trying to apply those principles to it. So boxing in. Boxing in silver. Let's think about that phrase. Is that a definition? Do we know any words for boxing in silver? No, we don't. There are no such words. So this is almost certainly part of the wordplay, or part of the recipe. What could boxing in silver mean? Well, silver is a chemical element. The symbol representing silver in the periodic table is Ag. So I quite like boxing in silver to mean sort of encasing Ag. Martial arts costume. Oh no. There is a word for a martial arts costume and I've forgotten it. It's not dojo, that's the place where you do the martial arts, but it's some short word. Oh, bobbins. Martial arts costume, what is it? It's not a K-A-T-A, that's some sort of exercise. There's so many annoying short words associated with martial arts. Oh no. I'm gonna have to move away from this. I can't remember. But let's park that for a moment and look at the rest of the clue. Is most fitting or least fitting? So I think that part of the clue is the straightforward, I say straightforward, is the definition of what we've got to enter here. So it must be a word that means most fitting, like aptist or something. But it must also be capable of meaning least fitting at the same time. So, least fitting. You see, the true expert solvers just know the name of the martial arts costume, and then I think that one might be a write-in. Should we go to 5 across? Let's try one down. 7 letters. Chap touring Swiss city, ignoring a winter sport. Right. Nearly got it, I think. Okay, let's read the clue and try and work out what we think, which side of the clue is the straightforward definition. Chap touring Swiss city. This just feels like an instruction, and if it feels like an instruction, it's going to be the recipe. What do I mean by an instruction? Well, chap touring Swiss city makes me think we need a word for a chap, and that's going to tour, it's going to surround a word for a Swiss city, ignoring a. So we need a Swiss city that has an A in it, and we're going to ignore the A in it. And that's all going to give us a 7-letter word for a winter sport. Now, the word I've thought of is bobsleigh, which might be able to be spelt like that, because I want to put Basel in that. Bod, That's right. So it is right. So it's bobsleigh. FC Basel, great football team. One of my old work colleagues was an enormous fan of FC Basel, and he was a good footballer himself as well. So Jonas, if you're watching the video, regards, my friend. FC Basel. Well, Basel is the city. Take out the A, BSLE, put it in a word for a chap, bod, and that bod, in case you're wondering, is it's just a word for a somebody, I think. A person's body, originally military slang. So bobsleigh. Now let's go back here. So it's probably got AG in it, this one. Baggiest. Most fitting or least fitting? Oh, it's a GIE, a GIE, and it might be able to be shortened to GI. That's the martial arts costume. But yeah, I vaguely remember that. I don't quite understand what's going on though. Boxing in silver. So boxing in the AG. Oh, boxing in silver martial arts costume. So boxing in AG plus GI or GIE, depending on. Oh, it's most fitting. So it is GI. So GI is the martial arts costume, and boxing in the silver and the GI is a word for most fitting, and that must be best, mustn't it? So the way we're going to check this is we're going to look up GI. Not only the soldier, and it was GIE, a judo or karate costume. That's a difficult clue, but it's brilliant. And why do I say it's brilliant? The reason that I think it's brilliant is that the surface reading of the clue, if you didn't know about cryptic crossword clues and we just read the clue, boxing in silver martial arts costume is most fitting, or at least it sounds like somebody's doing the activity of boxing. Yeah, that is boxing, by the way. It may not look it. It's not exactly Floyd Mayweather. It's Simon Boxing. But yeah, boxing, the activity of boxing, which you're doing in a silver martial arts costume, is the image that's thrown up. And the best cryptic crossword clue writers, they throw up these images into your mind from the wording of the clue, which will have nothing to do with the actual answer. It's a talent, and Colin displays it there. So we've actually now got a really good start, because we've got one across and one down. Look at all these starting letters. We'll go for the jackpot with 10 across. 11-4. Complex leftover subplot is hindrance to shooting. That is... I know, I understand the recipe here. Complex leftover subplot is saying that we need to treat the letters of leftover subplot in a complex way. So we have to anagram them. And that's going to give us an 11-4 phrase, which means hindrance to shooting. And I don't know what that is yet. That could be, remember, it could be cryptic. So shooting, a hindrance to shooting might be something that stops somebody shooting a photograph or a film. Or it could be a hindrance, to somebody shooting in a football or something like that. So what is it then? Hindrance to shooting. Oh no, okay, so it's shooting. It is the most normal meaning of shooting. It's shooting a gun. So a hindrance to shooting a gun is a bulletproof vest, isn't it? So bulletproof vest must be an anagram of all of those letters. Looks about right, doesn't it? So now we're in a really good position to get 2 down. Set on making a comeback. Yeah, okay, so this is an easy clue once you've got G blank L. But I'm guessing, even if you've never seen cryptic crossword clues before, that won't be easy. So spend a moment on it. I mean, there's very few options for that middle vowel. And decide what you think the answer is and why. Now, if you think the answer is gel, you're correct. But why? Well, we said one side of the clue was going to be the definition. That's simply, in this case, the word set. If something sets, it gels, doesn't it? It hardens. Why is it gel? On making a comeback. What does that mean? Well, as so often in cryptic crosswords, you have to know a little bit about cricket. So the on side in cricket is the leg side. And so on is a synonym for leg, makes a comeback, so reverses, and that gives us the gel that we're looking for. So let's go on. Let's go 3 down, see if it begins with ice. Relentless, so we've got another boxing reference. Relentless boxer. 10 letters, by the way. Relentless boxer, one losing face in battle with Ali. Wow, okay. Joe Frazier, George Foreman. You see, you mustn't think about this. This is not what's going to be going on. My guess would be that this means relentless. The only reason I say that is what the other side of the clue, which is an apparent reference to Muhammad Ali. Can we think of any synonyms, 10-letter words for references to Muhammad Ali? No. So the other side of the clue is almost certainly the definition, and there are no words that mean relentless boxer. So it must be just the word relentless. Inexorable or something is probably the answer. So boxer 1, losing face. Well, it says it is an anagram. It's just hard to see why. Okay. So boxer is the letters of the word boxer. 1 losing face is going to be the word 1 losing that its face. And what Colin is telling us here is that the word 1 has a face, which is most likely to be its first letter, I think. So that gives us NE. So far we've got boxer, NE, in battle, so that's suggesting that these letters are in battle, so they're sort of being agitated, with the letters of Ali. That does give us 10 letters, and I think if you anagram those letters, you probably can get inexorable. Which means relentless. So again, hugely helped with that one by getting, of course, baggiest and bulletproof vest. So sepia, should we go for, or sapid for 4 down? Let's see. Police officer, 5 letters. Police officer who's taking action to retain power. Okay, it isn't sapid and or whatever else it was. I clicked sepia. No, it's something else. Again, apply the principles we've learned. This is the first time in this video I'm going to say something about things that bear repetition. You can't just abbreviate. Right, abbreviations are incredibly important in cryptic crossword land. A lot of the words in this puzzle will have a valid abbreviation. What do I mean by a valid abbreviation? I mean an abbreviation that is supported by the dictionary. So in this clue, you see the word police. That cannot be the word P, or the letter P, because if we go to the letter P in the dictionary and we look through all of the various words that P can be an abbreviation for, we will not find police. We will find power. Now that's interesting. So this is a 5-letter word for a police officer who's taken action, is saying who has taken action. And action is one of these evocative words in cryptic crossword land. If there's a reference to somebody taking action, it might be somebody who's doing something, taking a physical action, or it might be somebody who is commencing an action in court, somebody who's suing somebody. And a suer, I mean, it's such a weird word, S-U-E-R, has retained P for power to give the word super. And super is sort of a, is it super inspector or superintendent or something? That must stand for, it's going to be a police officer of some sort. Superintendent. So superintendent is, if we go there, it's going to be a police officer. So it all makes sense once we read it in the correct way. And that, to be honest, is the biggest challenge with learning how to solve cryptic crosswords. It is a bit like learning a new language. It's just based on the language we already know. Now I'm going to go for 6 down because it's got an interesting F in it. 4 letters. Mostly poor quality. Time in gallery. Well, okay, I know how I just can't think of the answer. This is embarrassing. Okay, so the way I read this, when we see the word mostly, it comes up all the time. What that means is take almost all of a synonym for the word that follows the word mostly, or that preceded the word mostly. So mostly poor quality is saying, think of a word for poor quality, and I think it's going to be a 4-letter word for reasons we'll come on to, and then shorten it by cutting off its last letter. So when you take most of a word in cryptic crossword land, you always take the start of the word, and the only thing you're going to cut off is the end of it. That's just a convention. That is just how it works. So we're looking for a 4-letter word for poor quality. We're going to cut the end off it, and then now we've got time there. And it won't surprise you to know that if we were to look at T in the dictionary, one of the valid abbreviations of T is definitely time, from things like V equals U plus AT, and there we go, time. So I think this is the name of a gallery, and it's going to be a poor quality. It's going to be something like naff or duff or something else that I can't think of. But I don't, and I presume it's going to be a proper noun name of a gallery. I should just be able to write that in. That's embarrassing. Anyway, never mind. Let's move swiftly on. 7 down. 3, 4, 4. How can you say that heavy dieter needs to reform? Is 11? Okay. It's something like the very nerve or something. Heavy dieter needs to reform is saying, it's not saying that somebody who needs to lose weight needs to reform their diet. It's not saying that at all. It's saying that the letters of heavy dieter need to reform. So they need to be anagrammed. Heavy dieter is 11 letters, so it's the perfect amount. And that implies that the definition of this phrase is, how can you say that? So it is going to be something like the, yeah, it is the very something, I think. The very, what are we left with after? Oh, the very idea is what we're left with. Yeah, there's an A, yeah. The very idea. So if you sort of exclaim, the very idea of that, you would be saying, how can you say that? And look at this. Look at these terrible, terrible... the Y isn't so terrible, but most of the checking letters we get from that are terrible. And so let's try 5 across. We've not looked at this yet. 6 letters. Some can't take this instrument in vacuous version of Gershwin. Just immediately. Get out of your mind we all know things about Gershwin, either George or Ira. We're probably already thinking of, what's the instrument that starts Rhapsody in Blue? I'm not sure, but it's starting to evoke things in our mind. Forget all that. We are doing a linguistic exercise here, and thinking about Gershwin is almost certainly not going to help us to do it. So some can't take this. instrument in vacuous version of Gershwin. I don't know what that is talking about at all. I'm trying to take my own advice and ignore the references to Gershwin. I'm doing a terrible job of it. Oh, my activity rings. Here's a... Has anyone got one of these watches and they buzz at you at the most weird times? Some can't take this instrument. I mean, if the definition was some can't take this instrument, I mean, then I'm thinking, is it bagpipes or vacuous version? Vacuous means to vacate, so that makes me want to remove the innards of a word. Vacuous version. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what that is. Let's try 8 down. 7 letters. Some paper every year has prominent coverage. Some paper every year has prominent coverage. I want that to be something. I have got that one. Okay. So, again, not desperately easy to solve, actually, this one. Really not easy to solve. The word some, which we've just seen at the start of 2 clues, very often, actually, and certainly in worse crosswords than the Times, it will almost always indicate a hidden answer, i.e. it will be saying take some of the letters that follow the word some in order and they will spell out the answer to be entered. Now, Colin is too good for that, so neither of these actually work in that way, and that makes them harder to pass. But actually what we're looking for with 8 down, the definition is just some paper. So we need to think of a 7-letter word that means some paper. And that's not that easy to do. But the only help here is this phrase every year. Now, can we think of a phrase that means every year? And I think many of you will immediately say, well, yeah, per annum means every year. Well, what per annum is something that has a very natural abbreviation, PA. So if I tell you this has got PA in it, because it's got a word that means prominent, covering it up, then it's not impossible to get the answer, which is notepad. And there you can see the PA has noted. If something is noted, it's prominent for its coverage. And notepad, of course, is some paper, isn't it? Let's go back to this one then. So some can't take this instrument in vacuous version of Gershwin. Oh, no. I can't just... Oh, no, I have got this. You see, it's totally fair what I said, that you have to ignore all references to everything you know about Gershwin. That was true. But the vacuous version of Gershwin, I mean, that's such a long way of cluing. So this is actually something that people can't take in a dietary sense. And some people are allergic to gluten. And that is the answer. And there you can see we've got the musical instrument is the lute. And that is in a vacuous version of Gershwin, which is saying empty out the innards of the word Gershwin. So that's the G and the N. And you put the lute in the middle. And, oh, so is this loft for gallery? Mostly poor quality. Gallery could be a loft. It's sort of a high space, isn't it? Poor quality. Loft. Mostly poor quality. I don't know, actually. I'm not so... Gallery? I know, this is when I get the dreadful devil on my shoulder saying, "You're being so dumb, Simon." Why can't I think of a four-letter word L blank F blank that means poor quality? What? Time in gallery. A gallery is a loft, isn't it? In a sort of loose sense. I think of a gallery as sort of a high space in a building, as well as being obviously a museum. To gallery something, it can't be a verb, can it? It couldn't be lift. Left? Left? No, I mean, all of this suggests that there is a word. LOF. Something. Which is going to be... So we're going to cut this word to give just the letters LOF. Put the T at the end. And we get loft for gallery. I don't know. What I'll do is, I'm probably going with loft, but I don't understand it, which is always terrifying. But I'll let my subconscious think about that for a few minutes, and then we'll make a final decision a bit later on. Let's try 13 across. Okay, this is easier. 4 letters. Fibre of male politician. Okay, so politician. When we see that in cryptic crosswords, it's almost always, well, it could be Tory, actually. Very occasionally it could be red for somebody on the left side of politics. But most often it's just going to be a member of parliament, an MP. So when we see this P here, we can very confidently write in the M. Now, can we think of any fibre then that would fit here? And obviously the fibre I'm thinking of is hemp. So how does it work? A male is a he, followed by the MP, and we get hemp. So the fibre is made out of, the word for fibre is made out of a word for male, followed by an abbreviation for a politician. So that one's slightly easier. Let's try 11 across. 10 letters. Picture of drunk swine hit hard. Picture of drunk swine. Hit hard. I want that to be something. Firstly, I wanted it to be landscape for a type of picture, which is clearly wrong. Then I thought, oh, it'll be an anagram, because the word drunk makes you think of anagram. But there's definitely not anagram fodder there. There's no L's in the clue. And then I thought, okay, is it a word for drunk, followed by a word for a swine, which I was wondering about putting boar in, B-O-A-R, and then hit hard. Lamb. I don't know. Picture of drunk. Like something like larboard. It was larboard. Is an old word for starboard, I think. I'm not sure. I have a horrible feeling that might be a word for hit hard, like lamped or something, but I don't know. Haven't got that one. 15 across. 7 letters. Grief acts to preclude love match. Grief acts. acts to preclude love. Match. It's another really good clue. There's a lot going on in it. Grief. Acts to preclude. Debars? Love match? I have not got a clue. There's so many little bits of that clue that I'm trying to understand and failing to. Let's move swiftly on. 17 across. 7 letters. Went off violin, entertaining you previously. Okay, I don't know what this is. In fact, I do now. But this phrase, you previously, is a bit of crossword-ese. It'll come up in many ways. But what it's saying is we need an old word for the word you. And that's the word ye, as in ye old, I don't know, curiosity shop or something. So very likely that this Y is going to be having an E after it. So we need a 5-letter word for a violin that's going to entertain, it's going to host the ye. And if you think of the Stradivarius, that's sometimes shortened to Strad, and that gives strayed. And if you went off course, you had strayed. So that one is, again, it's a mixture, this puzzle so far, of sort of ones I can write in and ones I've got no idea what's going on. We'll go for 9 down. 8 letters. One scoring very quietly. I was going to say this feels like a musical reference. Oh, is it just composer, actually? Turning into potential success. I don't know. I've just seen. So when I see one scoring very quietly, I don't think about a footballer scoring a very quiet goal. I think about one who writes on a musical score. Now that would be a composer. And very quietly, if you saw that written in a musical way, it would typically be P or PP, wouldn't it? For piano, pianissimo. Okay, why is it composer? Very, okay, comma, yes, okay, right. So the way this works is after one scoring, we cut the clue. So we are looking for an 8-letter word for somebody who scores in a musical way, and the answer is therefore composer. Very is the word so. If you said he's very good, you might say he's so good. They are synonymous, aren't they? So very is the word so. Quietly in a musical sense is P. And that turns, so we get a reversal of that so P in the middle of the word comma. And that is a potential success in the sense of a newcomer or a latecomer. Somebody who is on the way up. If we go, someone who's come, a person who shows promise. So how was that expressed in the clue? A potential success. Now what's this then? Something graph? Lineograph or something? Lipograph? Hit hard might be rap. What's going on here? It's some sort of weird word, I think, ending in graph. Now, I haven't worked out how this works, though. So, picture, which is the definition, of drunk swine. Hog. Hog could be a swine. Lithograph. Hog rap. Drunk is lit. Yeah, okay. So if you're drunk in a sort of yeah, let me, drunk and lit are synonymous. Let me just show you. That is definitely something I know. Where are we going to find it? Oh, no, it does. It definitely does. Past tense of... No, it... Where am I? Am I just looking in the wrong place? Oh, there. Lit. Drunk. Okay, so lit and drunk are synonymous. Swine is the hog. Yeah, hit, if you hit something, you wrap them. And then hard is H, and you might see that on pencils. So H. There. Hard on lead pencils. Not easy. And a lithograph, let's look up that as well, because it's not something I'm terribly familiar with, if I'm honest. A print produced by lithography from stone. Wow. I mean, so that is the answer, and we have solved it, and that is good. And now we can look at 12 down, which is going to begin with tree surgeon, is what it's going to be. 6 footer supporting short, snappy form of sport. It's not tree surgeon. 4-7. 6 footer. By the way, when you see 6 footer, you might think, oh, it's referring to a tall person. No, no, no. In Cryptic Crossword land, a 6 footer is an insect. So I'm pretty sure an insect is involved in the answer somehow. Supporting short, snappy form of sport. I think this is going to be the name for a form of sport. And the 6 footer is probably going to be an ant. And that's going to be it's going to support short, terse? No. Form of sport is going to be something like rugby union, but obviously it's not that. Form of sport. Trap. Oh, I don't know. Let's try 16 down. 8 letters. None. Oh no, come on. You've got to use the checking letters first, Simon. Let's go 19 across. 7 letters. Lodges run without leader anyway. Run without leader anyway. Lodges run without leader anyway. I don't know. Colin is good at writing clear. I'm beginning to understand why a lot of the, by 13 minutes was getting well into the top 10. I think if you're not on the wavelength of these clues, they are quite hard to get a grip on. Okay, so maybe we do, let's go 14 down first. 10 letters. Parisians very. Okay, this is an idea or a theme that's used often in Cryptic Crossword land. When we see something like Parisians very, we must immediately be thinking about, well, that's somebody French. A Parisian is somebody French. So we're looking for the French word for very. And isn't that tray? So I'd be astonished if this doesn't begin with tray. Very, old hat, put on king, who's intrusive. If something is old hat, it's passé. And then put on king, we looked at this last week, didn't we? R is king because the Latin word for a king is rex, and if we go under R in the dictionary, there we find king. It's a very strange one actually, because king in chess scoring is K, so it's perfect there. It's perfectly possible for this word king to be cluing an R or a K. We have to be aware of both. In this instance, it's R, and a trespasser is obviously someone who's intrusive. Now let's go back here. Residue? No. Logic. Oh, resides, is it? Oh yes, it is. Right, lovely clue. So if you lodge somewhere, you live there, don't you? You reside there. So resides is the definition. How does it work? Well, again, from cricket scoring, R is run. So that's this R. And then without leader anyway is saying, think of a word, a 7-letter word for anyway, besides, and take away its leader, its leading letter, which is B. And that gives us E-sides, and we get resides, which is the answer. So again, the recipe is very clear once we understand how to read it. Let's go for 20 down. 5-2. Crush's example of marital relations. Yes. Okay. Again, go through the process. Make a decision for yourself. Do you think that this is a 5-2 phrase that means crushes? Or do you think it means relations or marital relations, or perhaps even example of marital relations? Now, if you think it's a word that means crushes, you're correct. And the phrase we're looking for is steps on. Now, why is this the answer? Well, let's read the rest of the clue. Example of marital relations. Well, an example, something that resulted from marital relations, might be a stepson. So and obviously if you read steps on and just put the gap in a different place, we get stepson. That's probably actually one word, isn't it? Stepson. So, but anyway, that's how it works. That's why it's the answer. And that gives us absolutely useless checking letters again. Should we go for 18? Let's go for 18 down. Come on, this is an important one. 7 letters. Would welcoming you in. I mean, that's a great clue. Would welcoming you in. I mean, why do I think that's a clever clue? Because it's just a simple phrase about, apparently a forest or a glade or a copse that welcomes you in. Oh, what a beautiful place to be. And yet, how do we treat this from a cryptic crossword clue perspective? Well, it feels to me like it's a word for a wood, which is going to include a word for you. And so is it a 7-letter word that means in? Like trendy or something like that? Or fashionable, modish? Or it could be something different. It could be the name of a 7-letter word for a type of wood. And maybe there's a short synonym for welcoming. If something's welcoming, it's sort of warm, isn't it? Or it could be welcoming you. So again, think of a short synonym for you. And welcoming, that word for you, is say a 5-letter word that means in. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Let's go for 18 across instead. 7 letters. Steaming tool was in the van. Okay. Again, it sort of conjures an image, doesn't it, of the tool that you did your steaming with. That's in the van. That's in my van outside. No, that's got nothing to do with how we're going to actually solve this clue. In the van is one of these phrases from sort of the military. If you're in the vanguard, you're at the front. So was in the LAN. If you used to be at the front, you led. That is definitely how this answer ends. I'm sure of it. So what we're actually looking for is a 4-letter tool. And the whole thing is going to mean steaming. Like rankled or something, or nettled. Or 4-letter word for a tool. Hammer. This is not my métier, let me tell you. I should never be let near any tools. That is a basic rule for life. That keeps bits of Simon still attached to Simon. if he's not allowed near any tools, and that's a good thing. Steaming. Oh, pickled. Yeah, I suddenly thought of the word steaming, not as in the sense of angry, but in the sense of drunk. Pickled. So pick. A pick is a tool, isn't it? As in a pickaxe. So let's go back to this one. What was this one? Oh, this was the 6-footer. Tree cricket or something. Form of sport. Cricket? Could it be? Test cricket. Test cricket is going to be... cricket is a 6-footer. Yeah, okay. So it's something to do with that. Right, so the form of sport is the definition. Test cricket is a form of cricket. Now, how does it work? The 6-footer must be the cricket, as in the insect, the cricket. And that supports... Oh, yeah, if you're snappy, you're testy, aren't you? T-E-S-T-Y. And that's shortened. So again, as with the word mostly, whenever you see the word short, it always means cut the last letter off. For some reason, it never means cut the last 2 letters off. It never means that. It always just means shorten it by 1 letter. So test cricket is good there, isn't it? Now, let's go back to 15 across then. Grief, despair, dismay. Grief acts to preclude love match. Okay. If you act, you do, don't you? So acts is synonymous with the word does. D-O-E-S. That precludes love. Now, love is 0, because a love score, for example, in tennis is a 0 score, and O has become is synonymous with nothing in the dictionary. If we find O, we'll see it here. It defines the word O as something like, in a series of numbers, 0 or nothing. So it is valid. So when we preclude love from something, we remove an O from it. So I think this begins D-E-S. The word does for acts takes away the love. Match, if something matches, it's a pair, isn't it? And despair is grief. So we have got that one now, and maybe we'll look at 16 down, which we never got to look at because I jumped around, didn't I? So 8 down? 16 down is 8 letters, sorry. Basic authors getting into short books. Basic. Authors getting in. Rudimentary. Rudiment? It could be something like that. Basic, rude. Is that actually... I would say basic is more rudimentary rather than a basic tenet of something might be a rudiment. I don't think that's right. I'm not certain, but I don't think it is. I just want to spend a brief moment talking about the phrase or the word books here. When you see books in Cryptic Crossword land, quite often, not always, but quite often, it will be the books of the Bible. And it'll either be the Old Testament or the New Testament, because they have very nice abbreviations. The Old Testament can be abbreviated to OT. So if we go to OT in the dictionary there, Old Testament. So the word books here might be OT, but it equally might be the New Testament as well, NT. So be aware that this could be OT or NT. Author, I think Colin might be talking about himself there. So referring to me, and not me as I pointed at myself, I didn't mean. So basic. If this was a word that means basic, the author, so Colin's referring to himself as me, gets into a word that means short, like, I haven't thought of that word, I don't know, and then an abbreviation of a books. So ending this in ment is very plausible. If there is a 4-letter word that could mean short, beginning with R and having a D as a 3rd letter. Short. I don't think there is there? Basic. No, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. Should we go for 21 across? 4 letters. 2 or 3? Not quite precise. Two could be twin. Or could it be, if something's precise, it could be trim, perhaps. So 2 or 3. Not quite. I don't know what that is talking about. Okay, well, we've got another long one here which we've never looked at. So 411. Texan enthusiastically to enjoy joke about new men from Louisiana. What? Texan enthusiastically to enjoy joke. I mean, this might be total nonsense, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking here. I'm wondering if this could be a Texan phrase for enthusiastically. Like I'm trying to think of the word that comes after like 10-gallon hats or something. I don't know, but it's obviously not that. But because if to enjoy is to like, isn't it? So I really like the idea of putting like here. A joke could be, oh, like gangbusters. A joke could be a gag. About new, well, that could be N. So gang. Men from Louisiana are busters, are they? Is that just because Buster is an American name? Or is it, I don't know. Buster Keaton? Busters. I think it's like gangbusters. And I'm pretty confident, so I'm going to actually look up a buster. Is that just a name for a American name for a man? A form of address to a man in Australia. Oh no, that's a strong south wind is Australian. Don't know. It's not very. And let's see if like gangbusters is actually in the dictionary. Oh yes, it is. Here. Now where is that? Here. Like gangbusters. US infinitive with great speed, impact, or effectiveness. So Texan enthusiastically, I think like gangbusters. I mean, it's definitely right. It's just I don't know whether I've quite understood that men from Louisiana reference. It might be my dictionary's out of date. It might be if you look at the dictionary now, it might say buster is an American word for a man. And it didn't seem to say that. At least I didn't spot it saying that in my dictionary, which is a bit old now. Sorry, Shane. Anyway, that's a good answer because look, we've got loads. Let's got a G in this one. Oh, a fish jelly. Okay, well this is a clue I think I must have seen before at some point. The point I make about this one is the inclusion in the clue of the indefinite article a. Now, if we just take a quick look through these clues, see how many other A's you can, as in the word A rather than the letter A. Are there any? I'm not seeing many. And the reason that I'm not seeing many is that Colin is a brilliant clue writer. And brilliant clue writers do not include anything superfluous in their clues. So if you look at poor quality cryptic crosswords, you might see scattered in there these and a's that are not necessary for the clue. Now Colin would never do that. So this a is there for a reason, because the clue could have just read fish jelly, couldn't it? That means the same as, or basically means the same as a fish jelly. So why is the a there? The a is there because it's necessary for the recipe. I.e., the answer begins with that a. A fish is a gar. Let's look up that. It's a type of fish. I only know that from crosswords. Garfish, there we go. And agar, of course, is a jelly. So that the point there is that a. If you see a's like that, they're going to be used, might be used for anagram fodder. That's probably where we might have seen another a in the clues. I'm not actually seeing one though. Oh, a. Oh, there we go. Ignoring a, winter sport. So again, chap touring Swiss city ignoring winter sport would have been a completely legitimate way to write that clue. So the reason that a is there is because it was necessary to remove from the word or the city of Basel. Let's go back to 18 down. Oh, this is the wood. Wood welcoming you in. Wood. Name of a wood beginning with P. Pine. Don't know. That doesn't seem to be right, does it? Let's go for 27. 6 letters. Give back, return, wet vessel. Yeah, okay, that's an interesting clue. The answer is return. But if you're new to cryptic crosswords, that will seem like a really strange one. Give back is obviously the definition. That's return. An urn is a vessel you might put ashes into. So what's this word ret? Now, unless you're very, very good at words, I'm betting you've not seen the word ret unless you're a cryptic crossword solver. And it comes up in cryptic crosswords because it means to sort of drench or steep, doesn't it? Yeah, to soak or soften, to expose to moisture. So to wet, for example. So ret there it's just an unusual synonym. So what is this then? Popular is in. Oh, that's going to be it. Poplar. Oh, this is weird. This is weird. Right, so we're seeing this more and more often. Okay, this is weird. I've got to get this into my head because it's not there yet. So wood is poplar. Welcoming you, that is the letter U. And this is from text speak. Now, sort of, it's become completely, in modern slang, a U for the word Y-O-U is completely and utterly reasonable, isn't it? And yet, in my head, I'm not there yet, so I never think of it. But obviously, that's how the clue works, and we are therefore good to go with this one. So 2 or 3, not quite precise. Prim? Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Right, that's right. Now, the reason I know that's right is it suddenly occurred to me that 2 and 3 are prime numbers. So 2 or 3, they are examples of primes, P-R-I-M-E. Not quite says take all but the last letter of the word prime. That gives us prim, and if you're precise, you are prim. Very nice clue. Let's try 23 down with a B in it. Launch, 5 letters. Launch times campaign. Yeah, I have got this one. Okay. The trick here is the word times. There are 2 ways I've seen that used, which are a little bit subtle and will be difficult for new solvers. Times, if you're doing multiplication, x times y, how would you indicate that? You put an x, wouldn't you? So that's one possibility. So could this clue contain an X? We need to think about that. Now, the other way of expressing a multiplication would be to say 3 by 4 or 12 by 11 or something like that. So times can also be the word by. Now, in this clue, that's really interesting because the by could go at the end. That's a very natural ending. And now, can we think of a word, given the position of the word times, if it does mean by, it's going to go here. So we need a 3-letter word that means launch, and we're looking for a 5-letter word that means campaign. Now, if you lobby somebody, you campaign for a cause, don't you? And if you launch a ball, you lob it. So I think lobby is going to be the answer there. And that's going to be helpful in 28. Oh, 8 letters. H from Steps. I don't know if I know that Steps is a band. I mean, this would have been a write-in for Mark. He's an expert on Steps. I think he knows all the dances of the band. And he will know that whoever H is from Steps, he will know everything about them. I have got this. I've got this without reading the rest of the clue. Because, thankfully for me, this is a reference to the periodic table, isn't it? It must be hydrogen. I don't know why yet. H from Steps, ultimately, removed from dry song. Oh, yeah, okay. So Steps, ultimately. Luckily, we didn't need to know any of the back catalogue of Steps. Steps, ultimately, is saying take the ultimate letter of the word steps, S, and remove it from the string of letters, the 9-letter string of letters, dry song he. And if you do that, you only get 8 letters left, and you then compose them. You anagram them. And if you do that, you can see it's anagrams to hydrogen. And H, of course, in the periodic table is hydrogen. Remember your Tom Lehrer if you ever get stuck. There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen, and oxygen, nitrogen, rhenium, and nickel. You know. Anyway, 26 down. 3 down. Well, 26 down, 3 letters, Simon. Looks like egg, maybe. Bar could stock this food for someone who asks. Yes. That was a really weird clue. I was reading it thinking, well, it must be egg. But it took me ages to see why it's egg. It's a brilliancy. Not from me, but from Colin. The answer is egg. If you don't know why, spend a moment with the clue. Spend a few seconds in its company, and you might see it, and you'll really like it if you do. The answer is egg. And it's just beautiful. It's actually the wording. This is my favourite clue in this puzzle. It's just lovely because bars do, pubs do often. I think they do sell pickled eggs, don't they? Isn't that sort of a bar snack thing? I could be showing my ignorance, but I think they do. But that's not how the clue works, or not at least how the recipe works. If the word bar stocked the word egg inside it, what would we get? We'd get the word beggar, wouldn't we? And that is somebody who asks. So the structure of this clue, I said at the beginning that almost all of the clues contained a definition of the answer at the start or the end of the clue. This is one of the rarest exceptions because the definition here is in the middle of the clue. And the thing that hints it is the word this. That's saying this answer, which is a type of food. So bar could stock this food, the egg, to give somebody who asks. So if we put the egg in the word bar, we will get a word for somebody who asks. I love that. I think it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, I've never looked at this one, and we need to solve it, really, don't we? Let's have a quick look at it without looking at the clue. I was going to say ameliorate. No, it's not that. Oh, I don't know. All right, 10 letters. American right-wing slogan about left-leading fellow to unite. American right-wing. Republican. the Grand Old Party is the Republican Party. American right wing slogan about left. Leading fellow to unite. I mean, I don't know. I've thought of a word that means unite that would fit, which is amalgamate. Oh, MAGA. Is it a MAGA reference? That's extraordinary. Amalgamate. It could be, couldn't it? American might be A. Right-wing slogan, is that MAGA, Make America Great Again? About left, that can be L. And that all leads a word for a fellow. I think that can be mate. Leading fellow. Yeah, and the whole thing means to unite. So amalgamate, I think, is the answer. That's very clever. Very clever. Oh no, and now I've got rudiment on the mind. I don't understand why it is that. I mean, is it... It's not spelt that way, is it? Because rudimentary isn't spelt that way, I don't think. But maybe a rudiment is spelt that way. And that would make sense. The reason that makes sense, if you're short with somebody, you're rude to them, aren't you? So short, rude, books, New Testament, has the author, Colin referring to himself as me, in the middle, and rudiment. I like that. Okay, I'll commit to that, and I will check the spelling. Oh no, it's wrong, I think. Bobbins. That's annoying. So I am wrong. I think that's definitely right. I won't change it because it's... Yeah, rudiment. It is spelt that way. It's spelt the same way as rudimentary. So how does this work then? Authors. So I think the correct answer must be this. A first principle, anything in a rude or first state. I mean, that feels like a word that means basic. I don't understand the wordplay here, though. Author. Have I missed an author here? Short books, rudin. I don't know. I don't know. That's a strange one. I'm not sure I understand that. But I think this letter's going to be wrong. And then this one, 6 down, mostly poor quality, time in gallery. I mean, I think it has to be loft. Which is a slightly terrifying one as well, because LOF, poor quality. I mean, it implies to me, if the answer is loft, that there is a word, and I'm about to say something very silly, but like lof, LOFF, that means poor quality. And I don't know that word. And that makes me worry that the answer is actually something like laughed or left, and left, LEFF, is the answer. But I think that would be my best guess. Let's submit, and then we'll feel embarrassed. So loft was right. Let's go and have a look at that. So what have I missed there? Loft? Oh, lo-fi. Oh, okay. Poor quality, lo-fi. I mean, that's just not something that's near my ken, really. Of low, so it's the opposite of hi-fi, I suppose. Lo-fi. Right, okay. Hopefully I will remember that. And we didn't get the answer wrong, but we did get this wrong, and I don't understand it. So the answer is rudiment. Let me try and understand that for you, because I really ought to, shouldn't I? Authors. Authors. So this is an I think. See, author feels like it's me again, so getting into short. I mean, R-U-D-I is not a word. It's just not. Rudy is a word. Rud? Yeah, I thought that might mean red. But short books. I don't know. I'm just missing something obvious there, and I'm just not seeing it. I can't get out of my head that me is author and NT will be books, and then I just don't understand the start of it at all. Author is getting into. Rude. There isn't a word, is there? No, there isn't. Rudint or something. I don't know. That's an intriguing one. I will look forward to the comments that will elucidate what I've missed there. But we will swiftly move on. And having been defeated by Colin there, and have a look at the quick cryptic and see if we can redeem ourselves. So this one I will actually go, well, I'll go as quickly as I can, so I won't give much explanation. Let's see how we go. By Chico. Put off after page 1. Oh, I don't know. Advanced showing of pupils first. That's preview. Let's go for that one. Bird say. I think that's going to be eagle, but I'm not certain. Sportsman heading off demonstration. Showers. I'm not sure if that might be nonsense. Oh, show jumpers maybe. General strike half abandoned. Don't know. Herb's parents worried about note. That's the name of the herb, but I don't know it. Move about with difficulty with permit. Wallow, maybe. Maybe. Song title changed by Elvis originally. Let it be, maybe? Could be. I'm guessing a few of these. Pioneer of Press Corporation introduces his book in news. Don't know. Ghastly English music style. Ghastly English music style. Don't know. What's this one? Follow on to take legal action about case of embezzling. Segway? Maybe? Ike. Yes, Ike Eisenhower making an appearance. Put off, postpone. Porters once worked somewhat Poets Corner. Oh, not Poets Corner. Whatever I put there. Tidy canteen, not starting shift. So showers is wrong. Neaton is the answer there. Sportsmen heading off. Demonstrators. I keep thinking of amateurs. Can Jack feel unwell? Jail. Retailer almost atelier. List, I presume. Oh, this is the herb spearmint, probably. Church beginning to rely on old chart. Chronograph, maybe. Dish made of hollowed out European elm. Entree. Rubbish on site initially affecting country. England? No, probably not. Bat. Reversal. Reportedly what Cupid uses to shoot. Bow. Sweetheart. Is it bows? Like, oh, that could be X at the end. Briefly withered with a lack of asphyxia. Is that what we're looking for? That asphyxia? Maybe. I don't know. Estonia. Yeah, it is. I think it is Estonia. I'm doing this in a very strange way. That's again. Pioneer. Don't know. Irishman lodging here. Oh, come on. That must be a Seamus. I was going to say that looks like a hidden at last. We haven't had one of those today yet. Terminite undergoing interim. That's actually doable. Ghastly. Oh, I don't know what that is. Let's go back here. Archers, then, presumably. Marchers, okay. Oh, Gutenberg, I suppose. It's the pioneer of press. Grime? Is that a type of music? Even. There we go. That was not easy at all. And I've probably got it wrong, because I guessed a lot of it. No, okay. So when I say guessed, I mean I'm pretty sure it's right, but if I was solving with care, I would actually read the clue. Is that a pangram? Because there's an X, a Z, a J. I wonder, it could well be a pangram. That very nice puzzle. Very nice for a quick cryptic Chico. Really very good. And difficult to solve at speed. I was 12th, so let's see. So who's beaten me there? That's a real time. I don't think that top one is Verlaine, Matthew Marcus. I mean, former winner of the Times Crossword Championship. Dean, that's a good time. Dean beating Mark. GL Hurd is real. Mystic Chris is real. These are all real. I mean, you can have no complaints. I mean, I beat Andrew Fisher. He's a very good solver. He's much better than me. So it's not a dreadful time. It's not a dreadful time. Anyway, there we go. That is this week's masterclass. I hope you got something from it. If you enjoy these videos, please do like, please subscribe. It's a terribly cliched beg from YouTubers to ask people to subscribe. The reason we actually don't ask people to subscribe in almost any of the Sudoku videos, but we do in this one because the algorithm doesn't like the videos, the crossword videos, for some reason, and we're trying to persuade the algorithm that it should do us a better job, because we have the impression that for some people this video is the best video we make each week, and if the algorithm could learn that actually, oh yeah, it's getting some real traction with people who then subscribe, perhaps that would help push it forward. We'd appreciate that. It's free to subscribe to YouTube channels, obviously. It just helps the puzzle we can never solve, the dreaded YouTube algorithm. Anyway, let us know how your cryptic crossword solving is going. Check out Spyder by Sabre. That is a wonderful puzzle, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.